A warm welcome to everyone and thank you for taking the time to participate in our information hour. And let me first briefly introduce myself if you don't know me already. My name is Minna Skagen. I work as Operations Coordinator here at the EiiF headquarters near Geneva, Switzerland. As Andreas mentioned, the information hour is recorded and it will be made available on the EiiF YouTube channel if you want to watch it or some parts of it later, and we will send you the link by email later today. So, looking at the program, I will first give you a very short introduction of our foundation before handing over to our president, Peter Hudemacher, who will talk a little bit about the bigger picture. Then our foundation director, Andreas, will inform you about our activities, including our advocacy initiatives and, for example, our TIPCHECK Programme. In 2020, we started online workshops focusing on national recovery and resilience plans. And Christian Engel from our member company Austerflex will give you an update on the excellent work that's already been done by Team Austria. Then Andreas will take over again to talk about standardization, and our technical director, Luis Lopez, will give you a very interesting overview on how hydrogen is used today and of its future possibilities. And even though this is an informative meeting, we very much welcome your thoughts and comments. So if you want to say something or if you want to ask something, just please raise your hand. So for over 10 years now, EiiF has been promoting insulation as an effective method to save energy, to save money, and very importantly, to reduce CO2 emissions. Our main task is to initiate the implementation of concrete projects, and we will tell you more about those later. At the moment, we have 55 members, and here on the right-hand side, you can see the nice, quite even split between contractors and manufacturers. We also have quite a few distributors and also some consultants among our members. And now I will hand over to our president, who will talk about EiiF's vision, mission, and goal. Peter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Minna. So I will make it not too long, but especially for newcomers, maybe this is a good idea to go just a little bit to the setup, why we are there and what is our purpose. Oh, I can do that. And so the EiiF was founded about, I think it's 12 years ago, on the idea to get this group that Minna just showed with contractors, manufacturers and distributors together in one organization, and with that get a voice also in Brussels and give a support for the national associations. So that is basically the setup. What we are standing for is we are a foundation. We are not an association. So a foundation has to have something. We are a charitable foundation, Andreas, when I say it right. So gemeinnützig in German. And this means that our purpose is just not to get the most out of the business for insulation business, but our bigger goal is to improve our climate by using more and better insulation. So we are a climate improvement foundation, and our means is the more and better insulation. We have the fantastic situation that our work from all our members is leading to a better climate. I mean, it would be very difficult to make this foundation if we are working in the tobacco industry. That is not really helping here, but we sit on the good side of the business, and so this is our goal. So also when we are doing things, we always have to keep in mind that our final goal is to work on our climate, and and the means is the insulation. So when you come to the mission, it becomes more direct. So we want to promote sustainable insulation systems for industrial and technical installations, with the aim of saving energy and reducing CO2 emissions. So that's the more direct part of it. And again, through all our activities, we always test new ideas if it fits in both this mission and vision. Yeah, then the next level is the goal: introduce mandatory, if possible, mandatory energy efficient insulation standards, and increase the number of insulation inspections. So here you see it becomes more and more clear. We more and more targeted also, and our activities are geared towards this. Typical examples is at the moment we are working on this new European standard for insulation measurement, comparable, but Andreas, you will pick up on that later, to say so you get the system that is used in the household appliances, for example, whatever, and a refrigerator. You have this A to F standards. This is something that everybody understands, and we would like to make industrial insulation appliance measurable in a similar way, and this would make an enormous impact on the contribution of industry towards the CO2 reduction, because now at the moment industry has no standards. Where every house that is built has to be checked if it's doing enough on insulation. Otherwise, you don't get a building a builder's certificate. On industry, this is just not regulated. There is a soft standard put by the industry itself, which says sort of 150 watt per square meter. Did I say that right, Andreas? Yeah. And 150, and this is compared to when you want to build a house, you have to be in the area of a 10 watt per square meter. So there's the non-binding standard for industry is 15 times worse than the binding one for housing. So we think this should change. Otherwise, we never, to be very clear, never make this 55% goal that we are looking for. So here we are really working on. I see that as very, very important. Yeah, who are we targeting? Targeting is the policymakers and the government. So we are very much working on EU and member states, but especially on EU. And this is where Andreas, Luis, and we have some also external offices. What's his name again? Luigi. No? Luigi with his office. He has a small office in Brussels that works for us on the floor in Brussels. And if I may say so, I think we are very effective at that. And Andreas will show some examples later on. And then apart from that, we work on industrial stakeholders, insulation customers and insulation providers. So both the customers as well as the companies. Of course, we have to make our initiatives also ready to digest for them. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So we work in close combination with the users of insulation. Yeah, that's basically what we are standing for. And when we look for new ideas, which we're always happy to receive, so please, if any of you have ideas for future actions that could lead to this mission and vision, then come to us and talk with us. We are very open. At the moment, we have a number of things on the table. Again, this is also something that Andreas will come up with, and one of them is, for example, the hydrogen as a future business. How can we insulate that? What are the impacts and what are the standards and so on? Yeah, so that as one example, but there are many more. You will see them later. I don't want to pick that up front. So if there's any questions about this, I have no problem in answering them now directly. or maybe to put a hand up or say something. Otherwise, I would go to the next point, the tip check. Any questions? No? Then Andreas, then I would say you pick up the next point.
Very good, Peter. Thank you very much. So after setting the scene, let's say giving you the strategic overview of our activities, I hope you can see my slide showing this nice cake with the different slices. Okay, perfect. So now it works well. What you can see here is the different fields of activities and a selection of products which we do. To give you a practical example, what EiiF in principle does. This is, of course, the aim of this information hour in concrete projects. So TBI stands for TIPCHECK-based inspections. The name comes from RBI, risk-based inspections. I guess everybody active in industry knows that. And with TBI, we developed our TBI app. And we further developed the Tbi tools, which enable, in principle, everyone, but of course also very much supports our TIPCHECK engineers to identify very quickly if a plant has insulation energy efficiency potential, yes or no. The app is super successful in online trainings, I have to say, and I know it sounds always a bit weird if you say something of your own product with this enthusiasm, but it is really like this. So we organize, for example, with H&M, a training for energy managers of all the factories who deliver H&M with clothes. And we had 2 meetings because they asked for a more intensive 1-hour training, online training on how to use the TBI app. And they already asked for a second workshop there. We had a good exchange in Austria. Christian Engel from Austroflex will say a bit more, where we also presented the TBI app and the idea of it. And actually, the government person in this meeting said, actually, every energy auditor in Austria should have the TBI app installed on his mobile device or on his mobile phone. So that is something very pragmatic, very actively helping. And we are planning with the Swiss and the Austrian Association trainings for their members, showing and demonstrating how you can consult your client with the app. I will also show another example in the following. Awareness and advocacy. We do a lot of communication via LinkedIn. Some of us are very regular exchanging there. Thanks to all of you who quite regularly click on like and further share. And then, of course, I think it's a wonderful online platform to be in touch and to quickly inform each other. We have started, based on the national resilience and recovery plans, workshops with different countries. We have Spain, Austria, Germany being quite active and already delivering first results. Some others, it's a bit more difficult, are in preparation. Also, Switzerland is picking up, and the TBI workshop is one of the first actions we want to do there. And then, of course, what Peter said, Fit for 55 package, but I will come to that on an extra slide to show a bit more. Research, innovation, and education 2020-21. We published our study this year. Luis, our technical director, who will speak later on hydrogen, and Minna and myself put a lot of time into developing this study, which we use every day almost in our advocacy activities. And the brain of all this is, of course, Luis. So, Luis, thanks again for the great job you did there. And Minna made it look very nice and made sure that the English is proper. So also, Minna, thanks to you. It's a basis of the work we do and a basis of the success we are having this year with the work we do. The white paper makes it 10 minutes to read because we know nobody wants to go into detail and read 100 pages about insulation, except us maybe. And the Fit for 55 brochure nicely summarizes the latest success of 10 years advocacy work and where did this lead to. Standardization work is very active. And here what Peter said, the insulation energy classes TC228. So they will go in the public ballot today. And in February, hopefully we have the positive vote and can start the work and call in for experts. So this is really running. Insulation inspection guidelines today, together with the AGI Q07, I think it's not wrong to say was initiated by EiiF and BASF, and then the AGI group itself, with a big support from KEFA people participating in this AGI group, and of course the chemical German branch. So Bayer Covestro was there, FIW Munich was there, and I saw David is with us. David Maurer made very good comments to it. So we hope that we can publish the inspection guideline beginning Q1, Q2 next year, which will have an important impact on consulting your client, looking back to the AGI guideline, which, for example, for the steam pipe running outside for 10 years, never had been checked, no maintenance. After 10 years, maybe it's good to do a quality check there. You can either use the TBI app, use the TIPCHECK format, and check if everything is still in order, or you need to repair here and there. So that will definitely also trigger and build awareness for the effectiveness of a good insulation system. Luis, first of all, but also myself, are very much involved in the Installation Key Mark Secretariat. So that is the certification, third-party certification of insulation products to guarantee the quality there. Also a very interesting program and a very fruitful cooperation we do. And then we have TIPCHECK trainings. The last one was just in November. I know some of the fresh TIPCHECK engineers are with us today. Warm welcome again to you. Was a fantastic experience and week for Luis and myself again to do a TIPCHECK training physically. And I think it was the last week possible to do it. So we have 11 new TIPCHECK engineers on board. We did TIPCHECK audits in a plant which actually produces the small glass bottles to put the COVID vaccine inside. And as I said before, we are developing new TIPCHECK tools. I will say a bit more about this also in a minute. What was the impact of TIPCHECK? Talking a lot about TIPCHECK, and you can do many things, but how does it support our, what Peter showed, mission, vision, the other way around, vision, mission, and goals to really save energy. So total energy savings over the past years, since 10 years, running TIPCHECKs, doing audits, and 3 out of 4 clients invest finally into the measures. So a success rate of 75%, which is really great. Have delivered until today 4 million megawatt hours, and the emission reductions about 1 million tons of CO2 equivalent. Increased insulation business is very difficult to estimate, so we are careful with it, but let's say more or less 80 million euros can be expected, has been invested in realizing after TIPCHECK audits what has been proposed in the TIPCHECK, and companies have invested in insulating consequently what has been uninsulated, repairing what is damaged, and here and there maybe even upgrading the system. So that is the delivery on this. TIPCHECK engineer statistics. We have about 92 TIPCHECK engineers today from 25 countries and 31 EiiF member companies. The next training course is planned for spring 2022. If you're interested, be fast. We have a long list of participants waiting for the date and that we can organize it. We are hesitating a little bit now how early we can organize it due to the COVID situation. But let's see. We want to publish it the sooner possible. The soonest possible next year. What you see here is there's of course some theory with Luis. There's a lot of practice. We look into infrared technology. We do in FIW laboratories check the different kind of materials. The device you see here is actually a heated pipe where we compare different kind of measurements from thermographic cameras to heat flux meters and what the influence could be, what is the pros and cons of the different technologies. Here in the laboratories, you see we had to respect also some COVID rules. And then finally, after 1 week, if people are successful, I see Laura laughing. This is fantastic. I was on LinkedIn and we like it very much. And the 3 TIPCHECK engineers from Knauf were very good and very successful, and I hope you will be very active as TIPCHECK engineers in the future. Very nice idea. We need to invest in these heads. I think it was Silke's idea, our treasurer, a fantastic idea. Thanks very much for that. Oops. And you can see everybody in the end is quite happy and proud. So here you see the new faces, and congratulations to our new TIPCHECK experts who participated in the training 2021. Okay. The workflow of a TIPCHECK, we have simplified it to make it easy, and the stream workflow here is in 4 parts. The most difficult part still is the first one, the preparation and the acquisition. So to win the client for the TIPCHECK idea and to make him pay for this qualified engineering service is still, let's say, the biggest barrier. If we jump over this barrier, the next step is the Tbi inspection. So collecting data, inspection, checking for uninsulated valves, flanges, damaged cladding, damaged insulation systems, maybe insulation systems which can be improved. And we determine the savings potential. This means now using the Tbi app that, let's say, you inspect the plant for 6 hours, you collect about 60 components, and you can tell your client immediately after this inspection that his savings potential, let's say, is between 50 and 60,000 euros per year. This gives the client the clear idea of the savings potential size. Of course, it could also be only 5 to 6,000, or it can even be more and 100,000. But let's say you estimate it between 50 and 60,000. Then the client knows, if I invest 120,000 euros in remediating all the issues, my payback time is 2 years. If I do 150,000, it's a bit like 3 years. And like this, we have a very quick analysis and evaluation of the TIPCHECK activity here. The real TIPCHECK starts after, when we need to show the client how can you solve the problem. So what material, which thickness, what cladding material, do you need supports, whatever you have to use. And there, of course, then also the company can give a proper price, write the report, make a presentation with an offer to do the installation, and the client here gets the cost estimate and can calculate the payback and the return on the investment here. So this is the simple 4 steps how the TIPCHECK is carried out. To support this, we have produced a lot of tools. Being forced to sitting on the desk has increased efficiency in doing these kind of tasks. So the TIPCHECK calculator, of course, is the basic tool, which is very nice to compare different scenarios. TIPCHECK Creator Viewer, I will show you in a second, to show very quickly to the CFO what is in for him. The TIPCHECK Estimator will be presented today. It's a brand new tool, not finished in the production yet, let's say, in the programming, but Luis will show you the idea as such. The TIPCHECK Converter is a nice online tool to convert units, and the Tbi app I will demonstrate in a minute. So starting with the TIPCHECK Converter, you see the annual savings, energy savings potential identified by the EiiF study is 14 MTOEs, million tons of oil equivalent. That's the unit which is used by Odyssey, Muir, and the European Union. But of course, we all more think in megawatt hours. So this is 160 million megawatt hours, or 40 megatons of CO2. You find this on our website, and you can do comparisons of different units, as many as you wish. Just as an information, it's free. Whenever you need to recalculate in different units, you want to know the CO2 emissions, please go to the website, to the TIPCHECK part, and then up here in tools, you will find TIPCHECK Converter, and you can easily convert. Luis, I hand over to you to introduce the TIPCHECK Estimator idea.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Take a breath, some water.
I'll do.
Okay, so so as Andreas was presenting, we have simplified the workflow for the TIPCHECK, and the idea is to align the tools with this new workflow. Also, he said that the more critical part is the acquisition. So we were thinking about tools to support this phase, and this is how we ended up with the TIPCHECK Estimator, which basically give you the opportunity to estimate using the average values that we have used in our study, to estimate what are the carbon losses and the potential savings in an industrial plant. So it means that in your first discussion with the customer, if they provide you information about the annual energy consumption, thermal energy consumption, so the energy which is affected by insulation, taking the general or the average pattern of the industry in Europe, and you can filter by the type of industry, food, petrochemical, the sectors that we have used in the study, you can have an idea of the current losses and the potential savings if you insulate based on energy classes. So basically, you use the annual consumption, you select your sector, you select the insulation solution that you want to put in place, the performance, not the solution itself with thickness or brand, just the energy class, and you get as an output based on average value the current consumption and the potential savings. The tool is already developed, so the calculation can be done, and I invite you to contact me if you have a burning project that you think that can be useful. We just need to define how to make it available, if it will be in the website or link with the TBI. We are thinking about this, but the programming is already done for, let's say, for getting the numbers. So yeah, please feel free to contact me if you have an opportunity, and I will do the exercise for you.
Thank you, Luis. And this invitation is very important. We did double check that this is, of course, a very rough estimation. Just imagine you get the annual thermal consumption of the company. You specify the industry you work with, because that is linked to the different kind of temperatures which are being used there. And then you define the energy class you want to use for the new insulation system. And like this, you can show the total savings of this plant, where we can influence and reduce the energy consumption. And we did some real tip checks, and after that we compared the exactly information thermal energy consumption as such, and the result of the tip check, in which we were really looking each component and every part of the equipment, and the figures were close enough to be confident enough to say it's a ballpark figure, but it's a rough estimate, which actually is good enough to give an idea to the client. And this is very quick. You can even do it by phone, talking the first time to your client. If he's willing to give you his thermal energy consumption, and maybe it's not the super exact figure, but let's say roughly, you can give him roughly an idea what is in for him. We think this is going to be a very powerful sales tool, and we need to think how and where to integrate it best, also to avoid misuse. That is where we see the danger. And maybe it's just for TIPCHECK engineers, because there we know that they know well enough what thermal energy consumption means, what the different aspects are. But this is in discussions. We will have a board meeting in December where we will discuss this in further detail, and where the TIPCHECK estimator will be available. For sure, we can already guarantee today for TIPCHECK engineers it will be, and it's included in the annual license. So thanks, Luis. Fantastic job also here. This is the TIPCHECK calculator. I don't go more into detail. The TIPCHECK engineers know it. For those who consider to become a TIPCHECK engineer, just to give you an impression, you have all information on one screen, and you can compare different scenarios from an economic insulation solution to an energy efficient to a specified and whatever you want to do. If you're interested, just give me a call and we will go more into details there. The next one is the TIPCHECK viewer, brand new and developed with the university in Würzburg. This is a tool we developed. Everybody or any TIPCHECK engineer can use his own infrared thermographic camera. And with his infrared thermographic camera, he can produce this kind of report, because this TIPCHECK creator and TIPCHECK viewer tools will enable him to stitch the infrared image and the digital image exactly to the same size. And like this, you can send a link. You can also do it password protected. You send the report like this, even on a mobile phone, the CFO having some dinner and not being really interested in industrial insulation, but he will understand that for him the plant looks perfectly okay, but with the infrared image you can show that there is definitely something going wrong. The major information, and of course you can add some more pictures here. Look at this, it looks quite okay, but then if you look with the infrared, you see that something is going wrong here. And Here he gets a nice summary. The savings potential is 3,000 megawatt hours, for example. This is just an example, of course. The energy cost savings there is 90,600 tons of CO2 reduction possible. Savings there is 30,000 euros. So total savings per year is 120. Your offer is 240,000 euros. Payback period is 2 years. You can attach the complete TIPCHECK report here. Here are some, you can use a nicer image maybe, but I wanted to keep it a bit funny. Put your own contact details and like this, send it to your client. And we have had quite some nice success with the tool in our last TIPCHECK at NIPRO, because the energy manager sent it like this to the CFO, and 10 minutes later he told him, go, 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 let's do this. So it works very well. We encourage all the TIPCHECK engineers to make more use of it. So don't hesitate, don't be shy, go back to us. And we're always happy if something is unclear, of course. This can be nicely trained in online trainings. Okay, that's the TIPCHECK creator and viewer. In principle, looking at TIPCHECK and the development demand from the market, we think now is the time. So the last 10 years, we collected a lot of experience. We did 2,500 TIPCHECKs in total, about 600 in industrial and 1,800 in the building equipment sector. And we see really the standardized quality builds a lot of trust. It's non-intrusive, so the TIPCHECK itself must be done in full production, otherwise you will never identify the hotspots. Therefore you should even execute it a full operation. Many installation solutions afterwards can also be carried out and they don't have to stop the plant. If they have to, it's usually better to wait until the next turnaround. It's cost attractive and affordable. The payback for all these projects on average was 2 years, sometimes it's a few months. It's very timely now with the Fit for 55 decarbonization, getting to 55% in 2030. The whole climate issue, of course, contributes to standards which exist and which are implemented more and more, like the energy management standard ISO 50001. So you can use it there. And it helps for the energy audit obligation, former Energy Efficiency Directive, Article 8. In the new recast, this will be Article 11, but maybe this is too much detail now. And of course, doing TIPCHECK services and offering TIPCHECK services, I think shows the social responsibility also of installation companies, that you are actively offering services which help industry to reduce energy consumption and emissions. And of course, for industry itself, besides being a cost reduction tool, they see the benefit there. Doing more than what they did in the past, let's say, to produce energy efficiently. So it's very timely. Why is now the time? Energy prices are going very, very high. Why is that? One of the reasons is that the raw materials are getting scarce, and I think all of you experience it now. Think about cladding material and getting enough for the next project. And the other thing is, of course, that the price for CO2, I took the German from yesterday evening. So you see here that it was at 69, and it's incredible how much it goes up and down. Just a quick political update. Yesterday, the German traffic light coalition has shown the contract of the coalition. And they have agreed that the price for the CO2 ton should not go below 60 euros. So this is by the government restricted and wanted, and a declared goal that this price should never go below 60 euros again. And we take one example, steel producer in Germany, having certificates for about 36,000 tons of CO2 per year. So for this, he doesn't have to pay, but he produced 46,000 in 2019. So the difference is about 10,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. Before, with a CO2 price of 5 euros, he paid 50,000 euros, was peanuts, it doesn't matter. The cost yesterday was at 25 euros, 260,000 euros, was already more. But now we talk about more than 500,000 euros, which he has to pay for the 10,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. He emits more than he's allowed to do. And let's not forget, the certificates he receives for free are reduced every year. So the share, if he doesn't do anything, the share of tons where he needs to pay for will increase. And this is a significant cost. And we see from the market that TIPCHECK clients, where companies did the TIPCHECK some years before, are now coming back to the installation contractor and asking to, or a manufacturer, for an update of the installation specification, because they look into every production step. Do we emit in this production step? If yes, can we reduce it? And in this process, I think we have an open window of maximum 2 years where we can put installation on the table and explain to the installation users, this is a technology which is very easy to use, can be implemented directly into your system and your process, and will help you to reduce the emissions and pay back itself very, very fast, especially compared to other energy efficiency technologies. So the time is really now, and therefore we motivate all companies to really invest into communicating and running TIPCHECK services. Even if you have enough jobs to do today, we should use this window of opportunity, which will definitely close after all big industry has gone through this, let's say, checkup of the own production. And then, let's say, the door is closed again. So we see 2022 as an burning year to communicate and build awareness. Peter said we are quite successful in Brussels, and here we are not just successful, we are really proud. The Commission actually quotes our TIPCHECK services in the evaluation of the Energy Efficiency Directive. So the EIiF vast TIPCHECK experience shows that improving installation saves money, energy, and reduces CO2 emissions, offering short payback periods and a high conversion rate. 75% of TIPCHECKs lead to installation investments. So this is, of course, fantastic, and we build on this and we work on it. They even link to our website where we show the benefits to industry. So the work we've been doing continuously over the past years does deliver some very nice results and puts TIPCHECK high on the agenda, which was one of the tasks we had when we started. We have a new format of TIPCHECK Ambassador trainings. I know it's a hell of an information. We are recording this. If you need to see one or the other again, then just go to the recording. But what we see, and we really feel the need that next year we all have to be really active. We have to use this open window of opportunities. And we have had a pilot organized with Saint-Gobain Isover and the German sales team. And we have found, I think, the perfect match for sales marketing people and TBI app and TIPCHECK knowledge. So we train how to use the TBI app, how to convince a client immediately inside the plant, standing in front of an uninsulated valve, for example, what is in for him if he orders a TIPCHECK service and then insulates better. The time effort is 4 hours. Investment for the company is 1,500 euros. We can organize it at the location which is best for you and your employees. And yeah, that's the deal. And we hope to organize a lot of these ambassador trainings next year with our members so that we can really push, in this sense, a positive wave to swap over Europe with TBI inspections and TIPCHECK promotion, of course. The Tbi Tool, and there I will make a very, very short presentation here. There's a link to a live tutorial where you can see how to use it. It has been downloaded more than 1,000 times from Google Play, so on Android devices, and about 600 times for iOS Apple devices. The app is very easy to use, and I will quickly demonstrate if that works technically. Let me check. Everything is prepared, you know, like in the cooking recipe. But now the window doesn't want to move to the right. Come on, to the right here. Okay, to the right window. I'll just make it big like this. So in the TBI app, you have the chance sorry, I just go to the next slide and then tick this on again. Okay, perfect. So what you can see here is you're inside the plant, you're looking at this pipe where the insulation is missing. So you're actually running an installation project. So you click on insulation, on uninsulated, you choose pipe, and then the component location, you type in the name. So pipe, I'll just do it now very quickly. You choose the operational time, which is all year long. The diameter is DN600, so we take 610. The surface temperature is 250. We measured that. The ambient temperature throughout the year average, let's say, is 15. You take the picture. Oops. Okay. Not this one. Okay, let me go back. Okay, if the picture is okay, you turn the phone again. I forgot the emissivity and the length. Okay, sorry. So the diameter went out. The length is 3 meters. Surface material is corroded. So now it should be fine. Pipe, operational time, diameter, length, corroded, 250. Tack. You can choose if the medium temperature is a liquid or a gas. Let's go for the liquid. And then you click on next, and you see here already the result. These 3 meters are losing between 6,000 and 7,000 euros a year. You see here the current losses. You see the savings potential for a basic or a good insulation system. And you can click on the top on the PDF, and you get immediately the report if you choose the right tool to use it. And you can hand this, send it by email to your client, and like this, just to make it big and get rid of my phone. You have the result which you can present and send immediately to your client, that he understands what the problem is. More information about TBI, never hesitate to get in touch with us. We are more than happy to show you all the functions and everything, but we don't have the time now. So here we did on advocacy some publications, and this you find all on our website in the publications area. So we have the Fit for 55 package, decarbonizing industry, the study, fact sheets per country, the white paper. Yeah, so a lot is there what you can use for your own internal marketing, or if you're an insulation user, to be informed about the potential. The advocacy work, I just pick out that COP26, actually, so far as we have heard from Brussels. There was an agreement to lower carbon. There was unfortunately not the agreement to completely get out of it due to India, but it won't affect the decision from the European Union, which has decided until 2030, 55% reduction, until 2050, Europe should be decarbonized. So there's no bad impact from there. There are some positive impacts, but we don't have the time to really go into detail there. One of our last activities was that for the new Energy Efficiency Directive Recast, we filled in the consultation, in the public consultation, the feedback from EiiF. Here we see the most important new parts of this revised Energy Efficiency Directive, of which one is the Energy Efficiency First principle, a binding and increased energy savings target. We can discuss with the new prices if the 36% is enough or 40 would be better. Energy management obligation for companies above 100 terajoules annual consumption. And we checked all our mineral producers fall under this. So they all produce more than 100 terajoules per year, or they use and consume more energy than this. So this is also affecting our own membership. And it's a good limit, let's say, to get the energy intensive industry to act and to implement energy management. Companies with less, between 10 and 100, have to do the energy audit every 4 years. There we are promoting the idea that within those 4 years until the next audit, any measure with a payback time of less than 3 years has to be realized, which of course would be a big push for insulation and makes completely sense economically for the asset owner. If those recommendations by the audit are not implemented, there should be some punishment, and we are also promoting this idea to make it clear. And that gives me another break and brings me to Christian to quickly demonstrate what our National Resilience Recovery Plan project in Team Austria and Austria has delivered so far. So Christian, the floor is yours. I will just let me know when I shall skip the slide.
Okay, thanks a lot. I hope you can hear me all. Well, it's really breathtaking what Andreas is telling to all of us. So it's, and I must say, we are really pleased about the excellent support that we are getting. And this is about the cooperation between EiiF, the Association of Austrian Insulation Companies, and our activities. Next slide, please. Well, we have been active in springtime to directly connect to the Austrian Minister for Climate Action, Leonore Gewessler, and she responded in a very positive way. So we could directly connect to the sub-organizations like Klimaaktiv, which is, let's say, the organization that makes things happen. So we had a seminar with Andreas and Andreas from Knauf Insulation, very successful, with a great feedback on the TIPCHECK and the Tbi app. We have prepared, I show it on the next slide, a fact sheet on technical insulation based on the material that EiiF has prepared. And very recently, we have started a cooperation with the climate pioneers of the Green Tech cluster in Austria, which is an organization of around 250 companies, mostly from industry, but also from consultancy and universities. And they are very, let's say, engaged in green, let's say, climate actions. So our initiative is very welcome. So we'll have a blog on our topic very soon. Next, we will meet next week, end of next week, with the Federal Ministry again to get support on energy audits, either in real money or at least in promotion, because they, from the climate active seminars, they were very positive. So they really want to support, and they know that energy efficiency measures in industry is very important. And as Andreas told, we are planning in early next year TIPCHECK training for the association in Austria. So overall, on the next page, please, just an information. Yes, that's the fact sheet that is not yet published, but that's in a very similar form. We expect that it will be published this year. So you can see they are using our images and our argumentation, and we believe that this is another step to promote it with the full support of the Austrian Climate Ministry. Next page. Yeah, these are just the contact details for people who want to directly connect with me or with the Austrian Association for Industrial Insulation. So thank you very much. And thank you once again, Andreas, and the whole organization for the great support. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Christian, and Andreas Waldu is with us, of course, today, and
Yeah.
Födu. Also, I think Roman is there. He's also part of the Team Austria. So we have a very nice dynamic, and you see it's really delivering and pushing things in the right direction. So a lot of fun there. We have other countries being active, but we unfortunately are running out of time and don't have time to go more into detail here. I will therefore also do it very quick to give Luis a chance to report at least a little bit about hydrogen, and maybe there we have to add an extra session to talk about it then in more detail. So inspection intervals, I said it at the introduction. Peter said all about the importance of the energy classes. You saw it even in the TIPCHECK estimator. We need them, and as I said before, hopefully in February, we will have this open ballot positively voted, and we can start and call in for experts. And that directly leads me to Luis and hydrogen. Luis, I don't waste any more words. You take the presentation. I kick out and then, yep, perfect. You're muted, Luis. Luis, you are muted.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm with.
And we
phone
don't see the. Sorry, Luis. We don't see the presentation mode. So maybe if you start the presentation mode, or you on the other screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, we won't have a lot of time, so don't hesitate to come back to me if you have any question for after the short introduction that I will do. The idea is that because now we are let's say hydrogen is very trendy and we are all becoming a kind of expert in the energy sector with all these prices for energy, etc. So the idea was to try to understand what is going to be the trend for the future and how is going to be the impact for insulation. So I was like reading a lot of information and trying always to have the perspective, not about the technology itself, but about what is going to be the impact for insulation. So first of all, what is happening today, and this is why is that relevant, is that there is a huge increase on the demand of renewable energy that has to be put in the mix from the European Union. So now with the new 55% target, we are at 40% of the production has to come from renewables. And unfortunately, this kind of technologies has some problems with availability and some quality issues. It means if we look at this the chart, that when we have sun and wind, it's not necessarily when we have the higher demand from the market. So of course, it means that we will need to have always a conventional use of production, let's say, but also it means that with all these peaks here and here, we are losing this energy because there is no demand. So the challenge for the future is not going to be how to produce the energy. The real challenge, because we know how to do it and now it's competitive in price, the real challenge will come how to store the energy from here to be used here, okay, and to bring some stability to the grid. And is there where hydrogen will play an important role as energy sector, as energy vector. It won't be the unique solution. There will be also batteries, pump, hydro, etc. But for sure, there will be some of it, and that's why the EU is putting a lot of effort to develop this technology. Today, the hydrogen is basically produced from fossil fuels. It means that it emits a lot of CO2, which is also a problem. And it's a problem because the use of hydrogen, not linked to energy, but linked to ammonia production or petroleum refining, methanol, etc., will increase in the future. Okay, because with the new regulation in transport and also with having a higher pressure on the food supply chain, it will increase the demand with a huge pressure of reducing CO2 emissions. So there we will have a problem, and is there where already there is a solution with a technology which is called carbon capture storage technology that basically reduce the emissions of CO2 to the atmosphere. There already is an opportunity for insulation, because it's not only that the process to produce hydrogen is done at high temperature, but also the carbon capture technology requires some medium temperature, let's say, so around 150 degrees. So there, of course, there will be a lot of insulation involved. So this is something that is not yet there, but it will come because of this pressure of reducing CO2. This problem doesn't solve the problem of this solution doesn't solve the problem of the energy. It just solves the problem of the CO2 emissions. If we want to look at the problem of the energy, we have what is called the green hydrogen. Okay? And this technology basically is the potential use of hydrogen as an energy vector. It means that it can transport the energy as the electricity, for example. You get the gas, and from the energy from the gas, you can switch on your TV in your house. Okay, so the idea of hydrogen as energy vector is the same in the sense that you can put the energy from a source into hydrogen for later on do some use this hydrogen in some different application to produce electricity again, for example, or to as a gas to in combustion engines or some other applications. Okay, so this technology, of course, is not developed in, let's say, fully developed yet, and that's why the cost is quite high. But it's something that little by little will come because it will solve the main problem of stability in the grid and availability of renewable sources. I'm afraid that we don't have time, or I don't know, Andreas, if you think that it's worth it to continue or not, or we can do it a second part later on.
I think, Luis, it's good to stay in time, but I guess everybody can accept 10% exceeding the meeting, so 6 minutes more.
Okay.
So I think to show the overview how the future production could look like and where insulation is involved, I think is definitely worthwhile. And then maybe we can invite to an extra session if there is more interest.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say we have, just to sum up quickly, we have the gray hydrogen which comes from fossil fuels, okay, and today is used in industrial application. In order to reduce the CO2 emissions of this hydrogen that comes from fossil fuel, we can use the carbon capture storage technology, and this is what is called blue hydrogen. And then we have the green hydrogen that will allow us to use hydrogen as an energy vector, and that will allow us to increase the production of renewables and then move this peak to the areas where the energy demand is higher. Okay, how is going to impact this for insulation? So if we think that later on with this hydrogen that is produced from electrolysis, we can generate again electricity to be used in these areas. Okay. For this, we have two different technologies. One is the fuel cells. So it looks like this, and basically we do the inverse process. So from hydrogen, we produce electricity, and there are some high temperature processes involved. But of course, the amount of insulation needs there is lower than what we have today in the normal power plant. Okay, but we can also use the hydrogen back to the normal fire power plant. Okay, so it can be used as a combination with the carbon and natural gas, or just as hydrogen. Of course, you need to do some small adjustment in your plant, but the idea is, as it's shown in the chart, is that you produce energy with renewables. The peak of production that is not required by the demand can be used in an electrolyzer to produce hydrogen, and then this hydrogen can be converted back to electricity when it's required. So, for example, during the night. Okay, and here we will have exactly the same demand of insulation that we have today in the natural gas a power plant. Okay, in addition to that, there will be, of course, use of the heat that is produced in this process in the electrolyzer that will be ideally recovered with some central heating installations where insulation will be also involved. And then to finalize, we have all the transport part where also insulation is involved. Can be involved if we transport the hydrogen as a liquid when we have a very low temperature, and then there are a lot of new technologies that will pop up in combination of different materials, including a vacuum as a material, but also it can be transport, converting the hydrogen into ammonia to be able to transport it as a liquid as in ambient temperature. And in this process, to convert it into ammonia and to convert it back to hydrogen, there is temperature involved. So also there will be insulation involved. So all in all this can sound like not effective at all, and actually it's not effective, but it gives an opportunity to reach this challenge of 40% of production of renewables, and also to reduce the CO2 emissions. So I think, as I said, different technologies will pop up, but this way will definitely develop. And I think that from the insulation point of view, we are not going to suffer. Okay, it's not like if energy comes, everything from renewables, insulation will disappear from the production, because we have this alternative that will require some insulation.
Perfect, Luis. Then I'll take over.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Luis, for this short introduction, and sorry that you had only very little time. We just are too active. We do too many things, and that's also to finish with. We want to do something very nice next year, because we hadn't had the chance to meet for more than 2 years now. And we will invite our members to the EiiF event in a nice location. On the images, the top is Mallorca, below is Barcelona, we will see. But we ask all the members, please save the date, 20 to 21st of May. And we will, of course, announce as soon as possible. And we really do hope that at this time in 2022, it is okay to travel, and that we can really have a physical meeting and experience the real EiiF spirit again by meeting each other, chatting, socializing, networking. Of course, there will be enough to work on. And we hope to see all of you and many of you there. But first of all, please save the date to all our members, 20 to 21st of May, and we will come up with more information there. With this, we are exactly at the end. Sorry for exceeding the 60 minutes by 6 minutes, but that's how it is. And you saw we were trying everything to get it into the 60 minutes, and it's just a selection of projects. But hopefully it was interesting. Like always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. You know where to find us. It's always nice to be in touch, and it's always a win-win for all of us to have some exchange and to be in touch together. With this, I would say goodbye, handing the word over to Minna to say the last goodbye, because you opened the information hour, Minna. Sorry, I didn't tell you that I will say that. That was spontaneous.
No problem. Yeah, thank you, everybody. And if you have any questions about any of the topics that we discussed and would like some more information, then you can contact me. It's my first name, surname, so minna.skagen@eiif.org. And if you would like to see our board or all our members or have some more information on our foundation, please visit our website and connect with us on LinkedIn. So thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.